Just outside the school at the front gates, the unexpected had just occurred. Layla was struggling to stand as she had just heard certain words come out of Vorden's mouth. "First, I'm going to have to ask you to step back a bit," Layla said, "and no touchy-touchy from you." "I keep telling you, let's just kill this right here, right now," Rayton said. "Look, I'm trying to be reasonable here," Vorden said. "Come on, Quinn said that you could help me." Every time she looked at Vorden, she remembered when she was being choked by him. It wasn't a good feeling, and her senses were still tingling all over the place every time he approached. If it wasn't for the fact that Aaron was standing by her side, she would have run the second she saw him coming over. But she had to admit one thing. Vorden, for whatever crazy reason he had, seemed to genuinely care for Quinn. The two of them soon would also be going to the portal expedition together. It was important they tried their best to make up while they could. She let out a big breath and gave in. "Fine, what is it?" "Actually, it's related to Peter. Quinn said that you two had spoken to him while we were away on the other planet. Did you manage to get anything out of him?" "No, I could tell that we wouldn't. It seemed like he was scared of something, even with Aaron there threatening him, which meant whatever he was scared of was a bigger problem than Aaron," Layla said. "Well, I don't think we can get anything out of Peter right now. He's broken more than ever. Perhaps the only thing that's holding him on is this last bit of hope. I was hoping by outcasting him like this, he would go back to the person who put him up to this." "Wait, what?" Layla said. "You mean you're doing this whole thing on purpose? I understand he needs to be punished, but don't you think you're going a little too far?" "Too far?" Vorden replied. "You don't even know what really happened there. Were you nearly killed by a blood-sucking beast, abandoned in a world full of monsters everywhere?" "Blood-sucking beasts? So did Quinn really—" Just then, Layla stopped herself as she turned to look at Aaron by her side. She had gotten so heated in the conversation, she had forgotten all about her. But as the two looked at Aaron, she was bent over looking at a trail of ants going across the floor. It seemed like she was disinterested in the whole conversation the two were having. "Anyway, if you can't get anything out of Peter, then try a first-year student named Earl. He was the one hanging around Peter before this whole thing started, and it looked like the two were going to meet the day we met up with both of them." "Earl, got it. Thanks for the help," Vorden said. "Oh, before I go, Aaron, do you mind if I touch your hand?" Aaron stood up from the ground and looked at Vorden for a few seconds. When they had first met, she had refused. She simply believed he was someone weak and below her. But she quickly came to realize that Vorden was one of the strongest people in her class. "I hope you use it well," Aaron said as she held out her hand. With her ability copied, Vorden then turned away and walked off. "He's a tough one," Aaron shouted. "Even with my threats, he didn't reveal anything." "Don't worry," Vorden said, smiling back. "I know someone who taught me a few things." Vorden continued to walk off back into school. "Hey, Rayton, looks like I might have a job for you soon." As Layla saw Vorden walk off, she still had one thought. Crazy boy. Quinn and Logan were in a different part of the school building than Quinn was usually in. They were in the dorm room area, but were on the floor directly above where Quinn would usually stay and sleep. The fact that they were in the same dorm room building meant that the two of them were in the same year, despite the fact that Logan looked like a middle school student. "We're here," Logan said. As Quinn looked around, he noticed they were fewer doors and were further spaced apart. "What is this place?" Quinn asked. "It's the VIP dorms. If your family makes a generous donation to the military before coming here, then you get access to one of these rooms." As he opened the door, Quinn was amazed by the sight in front of his eyes. The room was twice the size of the one he shared with 3 people, and there was only a single bed. But that wasn't what amazed him. The whole room was filled with what Quinn could only call junk. There were piles of scrap metal everywhere, and lying across the entire place were gadgets, little spaceships, controllers, and all sorts. There were 2 things that stood out in the room. One of them was a large human-sized tube that seemed to be hooked up to a computer and had large tube-like wires hanging from the top, and right next to that was a VR pod, one of the ones that cost 100,000 credits to buy. Logan's family was a rare case. Usually when getting rich, it was to do with power. Those with strong abilities earned money by hunting or from protecting others. However, Logan's family were one of the very few who managed to amass its wealth by making the VR game and selling the equipment. There were a few other families that were able to do the same, such as companies that built the spaceships and certain beast weapons, but a lot of them still worked under the umbrella of an original family. Logan then went to sit into his mechanical chair that instantly sprouted a load of arms and started to give him a massage. "So what did you want help with?" Logan asked. Quinn was in a strange situation. Layla and Vorden knew he was a vampire, but didn't know about the system. Logan knew about the system, but didn't know he was a vampire. However, because of what Logan knew, it seemed more comfortable to explain the system side rather than the vampire side. "I was wondering if you would be able to hack the watch for me, allow it to display a number of whatever I want." "I should be able to do that easily for you, but first you need to tell me why." Quinn hesitated for a little bit. He had only just met Logan. He seemed like a nice guy off initial impression, but every killer or crazy person out there showed a nice face to someone at some point. I think I know what you're thinking. You're worried that if the government finds out your ability, they're going to try to take you away and dissect you," Logan said. "Well, trust me, I won't be telling the government, the military, or anyone anything. I'll be honest with you, Quinn, I don't care about you. I care about the person who was able to input a system into your mind. To find that person, I need you to lead me to him, and before that happens, I'm not letting anyone take you away." Logan's words sounded a little scary and harsh to Quinn, but at least they were honest. Unlike other people where he couldn't tell what they were thinking, Logan was being completely transparent. "As you know, my system has a certain set of skills that are allowed to be used in the game, but the thing is, I actually do have an ability." Quinn then lifted the shadow and started to move into a giant hand, and used it to wave at Logan. If it wasn't for the fact that Logan was sitting down, he would have fallen down from the shock. "What is that? So, you really are an original?" "Not quite. It was an ability the system already had, but for some reason, as you can see," Quinn said, pointing at his watch, "it doesn't register on the watch." 1,000 thoughts started to race through Logan's mind of why it might be. He wasn't interested too much in the ability itself. That stuff didn't interest him, but he wanted to know the reason why. "The watch is a simple fix, but if I do this for you, I was wondering if you could do me a favor," Logan said, looking at the wired tube machine. Quinn started to sweat, looking at the thing. If he wasn't going to be experimented on by the military, he felt like Logan would be doing it anyway. "Don't look at me like that. The machine there is for the game. Will you let me put your shadow abilities in the game?" Logan asked.
Subscribe to the Pocket FM Blockbuster YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notifications. Check out our channel for more exciting shows.